As Jung used to say, it is how you act that heals, not what you know. Our little mind loves to deceive us, thinking that just because we know something and just because we learn something, it means that we know about it. It means that we've applied the wisdom. But as Jung used to say, in order to actually heal, to get your body through that process of individuation, to get your body to cross anxiety, to get away from that fearful state of being, we have to act. We have to use our body. Our body, from below, our nervous system, is controlled by this autonomic state of being, by the flight or fight response. So whenever we get triggered by external events, it's essential to know about who you are. Because if you just know about who you are, then your mind can interpret the situation differently. But in order for us to change those circumstances, we have to behave in different ways. How do we do that? Physically, by moving our body, by creating new circumstances. Even though it's going to be difficult, of course. But it's sitting with your body that is going to individualize this process for you, because our body holds all the weight. So it's on us to uncover what is that signaling cue trying to signal about myself. And it might be so repressed that we can't even pinpoint with logic about what is that. And this is the shadow work state of being. And in order to tap into shadow work, we have to be creative. We can't look at shadow work as being this dark, mystical thing, because then everyone's going to live in an illusion. Everyone's going to live in their own path, looking at things from their own perspective instead of perception, looking at things from a broader scale. When you work with your body, you realize that you're not your body, and you can see your 360. In astrology, that would be from the first house all the way through the 12th house. Those are your 12 astrological houses. So, why is it so important? Because when we apply it to psychology, science, physics, they're all stating the same thing. When we bring it down to a core level, it's working with ourselves. It's in ourselves that we're going to find that change. So when we're running, using our mind, learning about different things, adapting ourselves from our environment, using information, it just stays in our mind. We're not doing anything about that. We're adapting the information. But in order for our mind to manifest whatever we want to manifest, we have to tap into those brainwave frequencies that allow us to hijack our subconscious, our limbic brain. So our limbic brain, right here, over here, where the thalamus is, and up there, it would be the hippocampus. The hippocampus stores all your memories. It has a little category box of all of your recollection of your memories, your semantic and your episodic memories, which is your emotional life and how you assimilate information. How you assimilate information is correlated with your prefrontal cortex, which is the developing cortex in humans. It's how we make decisions, how we think, how we rationalize. But in order to act, to get away from the unconscious 95% autonomic state of being that you don't see because you see yourself from your lens, from the 3D, you don't see everything that's within you, everything that's stored. That's reflected through the relationships you have with yourself, with the world, with other people, with everything around you. That's going to dictate your own unique energies. That's projection. And the more we understand what triggers us and what doesn't, and the unique little things about ourselves that just makes us, the more we can understand ourselves. It's really about practicalizing this. It's sad that we're all just unconsciously running these programs, and it, especially with technology and with everything externally influencing our state of being. When we manage our state of being, then we don't get affected by anything around us because we're just moving with everything around us. So whatever circumstance comes our way, good or bad, we know how to manage it. When we understand our energies, using astrology, using neuroscience, using psychoanalysis, we can really start to dig deep into those little cues that are signaling that big shadow that you haven't seen. For instance, for me, sometimes it's hard to understand my own unique path. I'm still kind of like curving it, but for me, communication was a huge issue growing up just because I didn't have that communicative aspect growing up. It was no one's fault, but just around me, there wasn't a lot of clarity growing up. I was moving around a lot because of my dad's work. My parents were the best parents they could ever be, but they weren't that emotional. Now that I know my chart, because before I didn't understand why I would run away every time I would get into a relationship. Every time someone would ask me things personal about myself, I wouldn't understand why I had so much inability to communicate. And that's vocally and internally, mentally. I just had a lot of fog because growing up externally, that's what I perceived. That internally, I had to stabilize that from within, because externally, All I sensed was that movement. It wasn't good or bad. It wasn't anyone's fault. It's just how I perceived it. The sensory world made me believe that internally. And because I have my sun in the 6th house in Pisces and my ascendant starts in Virgo, then now I know I have to work on my sun. I have to work on my actions. I have to work on my emotional life. My sun is in Pisces. Pisces is mutable water. It's moving with the emotions and structuring that every single day in my 6th house. So I have to structure my emotions. I'm very emotional. I'm mutable with my emotions. And maybe my parents, because they have different energies, they provided me with their unique sense of care in different ways, in different energies. By giving me material things or physical things or telling me things with words or just giving me presents. But when you're dealing with the emotions, if I have my sun in the emotions, it means that my actions revolve around the emotions. So I pick up things emotionally very quick. Every single water sign, it's just depending on the modalities, that's going to dictate the energies. So Pisces is mutable with their energy, with their sun. Scorpio is fixed with their energies, with their emotions. And Cancers are cardinal. They're initiator. They create the moon. That's why they're ruled by the moon, the cycles. If I have Pisces in my sun, that means that now I know that I have to be mutable with my emotions, but practicalize that in my 6th house. And I know you might not know me, you don't really know me, I'm Sofia, I show videos. For me growing up, it was really hard for me to communicate just because I couldn't really understand what's going on internally. Pisces, mutable, a lot of mutable water going on. I never really structured it because I didn't know myself. I was going through life, always confused, always working on other people's thing or working on things that weren't for me. I wasn't working on my mutable energy. And that's just an example. Everything works together because these are all the energies correlated within you. And I know this sounds true to mundane, but I'm going to break it down the most practical I can with every single video. And I'm going to keep posting and breaking it down. This is just the beginning, but essentially we can start to play with our energies and see this as a much more practical process and understand how unique you are. This is not this pseudo mundane inspirational thing. Again, it's me telling you this so you can wake up and we can all create like a better thing. Welcome to the age of accordion. So yeah, I have my moon in my 4th house. I keep emphasizing this, but these are the 2 luminaries in the chart, and then the others are the helpers of the luminaries. These are what's going to be externally seen the most. The sun, your actions, the moon, your reactions. How you react to things internally, the cycles from within. I have my moon in my 4th house in Capricorn. What's Capricorn? Cardinal Earth, initiating and creating new ways of thinking and practicalizing. So I feel comfortable in my 4th house when I have structure around me, when I'm initiating and creating new ways of structuring, new ways of putting my emotions in a box, of practicalizing them, either physically or mentally. I need that to feel stable within. So now I know that whenever I have an emotional outburst, to go within with my emotions, to ground them. So my sun can work better because our moon is everything internal. That's our unconscious. That's everything below, literally every single thing. And your subconscious would be consciousness. It's you. It's you right now. So when we understand the mood, and then you can start to like alchemize these better when you start to get more into precision and horoscope and stuff, but not to get too deep into this, but we can start to pick up these energies when we start to understand how complex this is. But it's a fun complexity because it's unique to you. When you start to intuitively pick it up, you just know, you are. So you start with your sense of self all the way through the unconscious. And that's how you reach your individuation. So yeah, this over here would be you right now, right? So you can see every life situation, your sense of self, your values, your communication style, your public persona, your desires. And that's going to be shifting like the cycles externally, astronomically, through the weathers, through the cycles, all the way from spring to winter. We go through all of these cycles. When we start to understand ourselves from within, we can manage the cycles externally better. A quick tip also, if you already started playing with your luminaries, your north node and your south node is going to show you what your past and future life are going to be. Future life is like your north node. So where is your node? Where are you concluding to in this lifetime, in this will? So that's going to dictate where is everything in your chart working for the most. So your sun, your moon, all of the planets, all of this force created and this gravity, they're all going somewhere. They're all going to a specific house. That's your purpose. That's your north node. So for instance, I have my north node in my 9th house. So I have to learn, communicate, Sagittarius, but I have my Gemini there. So yeah, that's how we start playing with this. I'm gonna get deeper into this in the following videos.